Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next podcast. My name is Cicely Alsbury, and I'm the Partnership Director for the Medical Health and Social Care Academy at St. Mary's College. And I am delighted to be able to have a variety of different people with us today to be able to help tell us a little bit more about some amazing professional opportunities in Hull and the North Yorkshire area. So, Mel, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you very much for asking us. Please, could you tell us about your role?
So I'm a project officer and work for HNY ICB, Humber and North Yorkshire Integrated Care Board. I work in education and training, and part of my role is to promote over 400 different roles working within the health and care sector.
That's amazing. Thanks, Mel. I've got one of my students here joining me today. Emily, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Emily Salovich. I'm a year 12 student. I study 3 A-levels and I'm hoping to go into psychiatry. It's a big dream of mine.
That's awesome. Thanks, Em, for joining us today. And these two gentlemen sitting across from us right now in a classroom, please could you introduce yourselves?
My name is Dr. Desmond Chandranath. I'm one of the CAMS consultants in Humber Teaching NHS Foundation Trust. I work in the community for CAMS, and I've been here for 6-7 years.
Amazing.
Hi everyone, pleasure to be here today. My name is Doug Ma. I'm a liaison consultant psychiatrist. That's a fancy way of saying my specialism is the crossover between physical and mental health. I'm also the Royal College tutor and interim director of medical education for Humber Trust.
It's great to have you both with us today. Thanks so much for joining. So, Em, start us off. What do you want to know?
So obviously psychiatry is a massive medical profession. We wanted to know what a typical day in the life of a psychiatrist would be.
So if you talk about mine, it starts with taking my child to school first, thing in the morning. And then I usually go into work and check my emails, because usually if something's happened in the night or something's happened late in the evening, previous day, just to get an update on something's happened or someone that's under my care it needs to be seen. Or so once I've dealt with the emails, then I've usually got my clinics that starts in the morning at 9:30. And then I see patients, depending on, sometimes we're seeing patients and sometimes we've got MDT. So depending on which day of the week it is. Like today, we usually have teaching that we all attend usually. And then it depends on what comes from the email or from people bringing at the MDT to say, we need someone seen at their home, or someone that needs to be assessed, or something needs to be changed, or something that needs to be discussed. So we kind of get through the day with those kind of things. Yeah.
So a lot of variety.
A lot of variety, yes.
Absolutely. So for those of us that might not know, can you tell us what an MDT is and who are the different professionals that might be involved in your multidisciplinary team?
Yeah. So in our multidisciplinary team, we've got myself as a consultant. We've got another consultant as well. And we have the team leaders. So that could be both team leaders who are like clinical leads and team leaders who are like the whole management lead as well.
Yeah.
Because quite a few of our things involves others, not just about just medicating somebody or giving them therapy, but looking at all the different dynamics that helps, even from school or social services. So we do have social workers who are working for the trust, and we've got different therapists. So we've got drama therapists, play therapists, and music. But some of them are like interlinked with each other as well.
Yeah.
And we've got different, like the nurses and family therapists and psychologists. Occasionally, we can bring in people from outside whom we think are needed, or who come to us to say, we want to present a case that we want you guys to help us out. So we have additional people sometimes visiting as well in our sort of multidisciplinary team.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing. I really appreciate that. Doug, what about you?
For me, it's I work predominantly in outpatients, although I do provide some in-reach into Hull Royal and Castle Hill as well. So those are ward referrals for any patients who may be presenting with any kind of mental health difficulties. The clinics that I run are specialist clinics what we call the pathways, medically unexplained symptoms. So these are people who have a physical presentation, although they can't find an underpinning kind of physical abnormality to back it up. Doesn't mean the symptoms are not there. In fact, they're often quite heavily disabled or, having a lesser quality of life. Let's give you a flavor of some of the things I see. There may be people with functional neurological disorder. So people who look like they are having a fit, actually there's no epileptic discharge in their brain. So I see very complex and interesting cases, referrals. And then I have another MDT multidisciplinary meeting for the frequent attender service. So these are people who rocks up to A&E too much. Probably you're talking about at least several times in a month, well over 8 times in a year. So then we work with the A&E consultants, sometimes the police, social workers, addiction specialists, ambulance crew. So the whole, everyone you can think of is involved in the care. Some of the psychiatrists also do on-calls, myself included. So that will be out of hours on-call. So that will look like, well, you basically work your 9 to 5 and then you're on call from 5 till the next morning, 9 o'clock. These are often people who are in crisis, who are maybe presenting with kind of like self-harming or suicidal thoughts, people who are flagrantly psychotic. So you never know what the day is going to entail. So that's part of the fun. It keeps you on your toes.
I have a question for you, actually. So how often do you go on an on-call basis?
So it depends where you work. Locally at the moment, it's about 1 in 10, 1 in 11.
Okay.
So just over a week. So you're on call at least 3 times in a month, usually.
Right. Interesting. Thank you so much. So we also wanted to ask, what do you actually enjoy about your job?
So I have to give a bit of background. So I initially qualified as a GP, and I used to work as a GP. And the reason I went to GP is the old word for GP was family practice. So that means you are connected with the family, you spend a lot of time with them. Very often a GP family doctor also deals with a lot of psychological and social issues that families have got. But when I got into the GP land, it wasn't like that because of the pressures and things. It was like people have got 10-minute appointments, and I didn't get that feeling for me. I needed more time with families. And when I was there, obviously, because when you're training, you do different things. You go into different practices. So you do a bit of surgery, you do a bit of psychiatry and everything. And I did like psychiatry as well. And there is the one where I had the most sort of contact with families. And so I kind of changed lines afterwards, and I came into psychiatry. So the really thing that I really enjoy is connecting with people. And then, because very often everyone sees psychiatry as something where people go can get diagnosed with something and then they're sent off. And particularly when it comes to child and adolescent, we tend not to stick to diagnosis. You can sometimes say that someone's presenting with a bit of anxiety or depression or something, but we're not giving that as a diagnosis. We're just calling them as a symptom. And then, so in a way, our kind of job is to connect with the families, to understand what is their difficulty, where is the problem arising from. And sometimes it's completely unrelated that a child is not spoken about, or the family's thinking, oh, this is not a big deal. It might be a big deal, it might not. It's kind of our job to kind of get in and kind of have a understanding and have a flavor of what the family's like, what's going on. And then that becomes like a supportive treatment. It does not have, so treatment when you come into CAMS or psychiatry does not mean immediately you're going to be diagnosed and you're going to be given a tablet to kind of fix all these things. So we look at all, that's why our sort of multidisciplinary team has got various people in it, and we work systemically. So we have to kind of, so in some cases, it's only the school that's an issue. So we have to sort out what is happening at school that is actually causing this, and we cannot help them. So connecting like that with the family and like looking at a holistic view of how to help someone, that's the reason I like my job and I'm doing what I'm doing.
That's lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You can see you smiling as you're talking about the impact and the difference and how you've kind of lit up having through that description. And it's really lovely to see.
Your passion really shows through that, definitely.
Thanks for sharing today.
For me, I suppose, I think if you work in healthcare, you get the ringside seat to listening into people's lives. Some of them are very inspiring stories. Some of them are tragics. I'm always one to learn vicariously. I want to know what makes people tick and why is it that same thing that happens to all of us breaks some people, whereas it expedites growth and enlightens others. So I think we are very privileged in our jobs to be able to know people to that extent, especially in psychiatry more than any other area of medicine. You really get to know the person from cradle to grave. You ask all the right questions from their upbringing, all the childhood, and all the significant life events, and what constitute that person to be how they are today. So I think that's part of my job I really enjoy. I often think there's lots of career that's high flying, that's very successful, and you can make a lot of money, but there's something about working in an arena that gives something back to people, and then you can go home and actually feel like you've done some good to the world for the rest of the day. So I think that counts for a lot for me. So I very much enjoy being a psychiatrist.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Doug, can I ask another question if you don't mind? Because I think pre-podcast you mentioned that you helped some doctors through their training as well. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a tough career, isn't it? So
this is your aspiring career. You know, right?
Yeah.
You have to be academically able. You have got to work very hard. I think intellect isn't just all about you've got to put in the work. And on top of that, I think healthcare is a mix between scientific skills as well as communication skills. Definitely. In particular. So if you are a well-rounded individual, that's certainly the place that you've got to likely thrive. So I meet a lot of doctors who are going through the career training pathway, and life happens to all of us. Sometimes difficult things. Sometimes we get married, we have kids, there's extra demands. Sometimes people fall ill. I think it just takes you back to, whatever journey someone's going through, there are things that impacts us. And if you can help someone go through that, those problems, and nurture that when they become senior enough to give something back again, that's really where it makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful in the sense of that reciprocity, about that giving back and about helping somebody else to feel themselves empowered to be able to do so as well, which hopefully Emily found through the medical academy as well.
Yeah, definitely. We do quite a lot of just in general knowledge, in general pathways. It's very, very privileged position to be in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So we also wanted to know, what do you like about working in Humber and North Yorkshire?
So I'll tell you a bit of my background for that. So I never directly applied to come to Hull at all. I was in Northern Ireland because my brother stays there. And we had this old MTAS system where you apply and you might get any place in the country kind of thing. So that's how I initially came here.
Okay.
I thought it might be just during my foundation years that I might be here and then I might leave. But I then met my wife then as a friend, but then we're married and we've got kids now. So, and then before that, I used to live in Northern Ireland and I've lived in London as well. So I used to think London is the best. There's no other place to be. I would never leave London. But after coming to all different places, I like the quietness and the less crowd, less pollution, less of everything that is bad is actually. So it's kind of one corner. It's not like Leeds as well, which is quite central. And again, even though it's a bit smaller city, but still it's quite central. We're kind of nicely tucked away in one side, which is why we probably have the nice sort of environment and atmosphere and everything. So, and since then I was like, well, might as well stick around here than go anywhere else. But I've got roots here now because of my family. So yeah, that's why I like Humber.
That's quite interesting. So you talked about different placements. How would you compare your placements, let's say in London, to Hull?
So while I was in London, I was not in any medical placements. It was I was doing my exams and things to get an equivalence exam for the UK. So that's what I was doing in London. So at that point, I think London was great because you just travel around buses and those kind of things. You can travel anywhere you like and you feel like the whole world is here. So you don't want to go anywhere. But once you are thinking of, so just come to think of it this way, if you're thinking of a career in psychiatry or in any other field, and you're thinking you're living in the middle of London, and you're thinking you're living in sort of Hull or any of the regions around here, You get the same salary. You're not stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Your houses are much
I mean,
cheaper.
sometimes you are, but
Yes.
you know.
Your houses are much cheaper. The other activities that you want to do is also much cheaper as compared to
Yeah.
London. And then why would you? So it's a no-brainer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not to be sticking out. Good to visit London, but to work out there is, yeah. So I would think from that perspective as well that it's, but when you talk about placement point of view, it might be very similar in most places with regards to how placements are. But obviously the regions. So for example, I work in East Riding, so I cover a big region. As compared to someone in Hull or someone in a big city, they just have to stick around this, like the population is kind of surrounding them very densely. It's not the case with me. It's kind of wide. So I've got multiple schools, multiple ways of working, which is slightly different in each region. So yeah, so that makes a difference as well. But it's different, but it's fun in its own way. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you like the variation in terms of going across schools and different settings?
So that in that way it kind of helps. Otherwise, in London, it's all kind of concentrated. You've got 3 particular schools, and that will be a region kind of thing. So yeah.
I think, Mel, from your perspective, obviously coming from the Integrated Care Board and the wide range that we cover, because it's Humber and North Yorkshire, and obviously we've only just started to talk about the fact that we've got Hull in the East Riding, but you know, we do have quite a large catchment and quite a unique catchment in that area as well. From your role in education and training, what do you think draws people here to be able to come and work and join our NHS workforce?
So I think there's lots of opportunity in the area. So, you know, Hull's a great place to be. I was going to say you liked London earlier, but I think maybe Hull's could be slightly better than London, to be honest. Yeah, no, just the great universities that we've got here, the great schools that we've got here. And you've certainly got the advantages of not being stuck in traffic as much as you would in London, so I totally agree with that. But yeah, just from an education point of view, there's great places to study, and there's great cities for students to come to be educated, but also have lots of fun at the same time.
Yeah, I think we're quite lucky then in that sense, even if we may be biased because we do all live here in the local area. Doug, what about you?
Well, I've been here for 20 odd years. So I'm born and raised in Hong Kong, and then I came to UK, settled just outside of London originally. Then I did my university down south, and then I got sent up here for my job. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, to be honest. For a variety of reasons. I think Yorkshire, in particular Hull and the surrounding villages, they've got a nice balance between, you know, you've got a city centre, but then you also got a lot of nice countryside if you're into the outdoors.
Yeah.
If you want to do some paddle boarding, you want to do some, you know, cycling or, you know, hiking, there's plenty of routes for that. I'm a dog person, so plenty of walks for that. As Desmond said, I think you get more for your money in terms of the housing. I think people are often drawn to bigger cities, say Leeds, Manchester. They think, especially if you're young or there's so much to do and there's a nightlife. But I think at different stages of life, you start craving for different things. Whereas my age, I'm 40, I'm early 40s, which means I've got a family. Do I really want to be running around looking for a nightlife? No. And I was just at Leeds the other day, and it's like, it's £10 per hour parking.
Yeah.
Are you going to work a 9 to 5 and then drop 20 quid to just park up and do something? No, you're going to be knackered. So I think the realism of, you know, work-life balance kicks in.
Yeah.
I do find people up north very friendly and very direct and honest in the most positive way. I know humanity is complicated enough without people being kind of like smiling and then actually not so nice in the background. But here, folks are just salt of the earth. So I really like that.
They don't sugarcoat anything, really. No.
And you know exactly where you stand. And I find that very refreshing. It's nice for me. I think
Yeah, definitely.
So I certainly don't crave the city life because, like I said, I come from Hong Kong. That's a city that never sleeps. I think I've had my share of that. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. So obviously there are various medical routes. We could go down anything, especially on placement. You get to visit every single thing, pretty sure. Why would you choose psychiatry? Why would you say a person should take that route? So for example, me, how come I should think about pursuing a route in psychiatry?
Obviously, it's a personal choice. but it's always based on what has inspired you into coming into medicine for the first thing, and then into psychiatry as well. So just like I said, I went to GP and then I changed. But then again, it depends in a way that, what has inspired you to come into psychiatry. And I would totally agree, people coming into psychiatry, just as you said, I think you mentioned that before, that people, there's a lot of innovation that is going on in psychiatry. The reason is how we used to live in the past has completely changed. Social media is one of the best and the worst enemies, as well as the best friend that exists right now. But again, we are still working on, okay, what is the impact and how we can use it as well as a tool. So all these innovations that are going on with regards to psychiatry, which is happening right now, and the more people getting involved is better. So that's from that perspective. But equally, what used to happen as psychiatry at home, let's say, when I say that in the sense of, parents, grandparents, they all were the psychologists and psychiatrists in the past. You don't need to see a psychologist. Your teachers were also, but the way things have moved on, everything is so like we're living in like exactly confined boxes. Everyone's so time constrained with what they have to do within this time and within that time. Nobody's got the time. Before, I mean, because I'm from a different culture, it's just like you've got an issue, you have to go see your auntie or your particular person because they're the ones who've got all the time in the world. So we always had this kind of thing, and every family has got that system, but it's slowly moving away from that. And so we are always, everyone is getting dependent on something else. TikTok, for example, is people's go-to for everything, and Professor Google. So when we've got all these sort of difficulties here, which is new, we are all learning about how these things are. So medicine, although they've got lots of innovations as well with regards to technologies, it's all coming back to how does it impact on people, and how does it impact on the doctors as well. So there's a lot of innovation that is still happening with psychiatry, and there is even more to happen. So I think there's a field that is kind of like got more prospects in the future as well. And even people who are sitting on, like right now, everyone's going to Professor Google, but in the future it might be, and we have slightly started, we're going to use technology where we are using computers and we are sitting in front of computers and we are giving advices through them. GPs have already started that, and it's coming to psychiatry, and it's going to come over further as well. So there's a lot of job prospects as well. So psychiatry is something I would recommend for people in that respect, but there has to be a tiny bit of inclination from you. Like, I mean, I'm really impressed with yours that you've already made up your mind that psychiatry is what you want. But for others who are into medicine and they're thinking others, I would say, yes, psychiatry is sort of the kind of innovative new way forward.
That's quite interesting. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I would just say, I think, depending on what path you go down, I think you should know yourself in terms of what your strength is, what your temperament is, and then there are things to consider, like the longevity of the career that you are entertaining.
Those are really interesting facts, especially I think to kind of some of those, like as yourself, Emily, you're within this stage, you're still kind of going through this learning process. This doesn't stop, especially as we move into adulthood. And I think both of you have highlighted this idea that you've gone through life and parts of what you wanted and needed have changed and shift depending on where that is. But knowing yourself throughout all of that and what's really important to you, where you find joy and where you can have lasting joy in your job and in your profession and in your personal life can really have a lasting impact on those decision-making processes, can't it? Sorry, Dad.
No, not at all. I think those are absolutely what we should be thinking about when you're choosing a livelihood for yourself. I mean, don't shut doors prematurely. Always set a goal. You can head in that direction. So I knew, for example, before I settled for medicine, I was thinking, should I do medicine or should I do architecture? Because they're both science-based, but architecture allowed me to do some creativity stuff, which I'm quite fond of a lot. I used to do a lot of arts and painting. I went for medicine in the end, but then before I chose to have psychiatry as a career, I was very split between doing anesthetics or psychiatry. Now they are absolutely chalk and cheese. You think anesthetic, you don't talk to people, you're going to sleep. But it really appeals to that systematic kind of like methodical working to me. It really appeals to my OCD. But then do I really want to be doing exactly the same procedure every day for the next 50 years? Probably not. So psychiatry gave me an angle where everybody's different, even if they're presenting with the same condition. But the background drivers are different. So I think that really kind of spoke to me. And I think psychiatry is probably one of the remaining areas in medicine where it's not very protocol driven. So management of blood pressure, you've got 4 drugs to choose from. We call them ABCD drugs. That's what they start with. You don't get much leeway. This is the policy. This is what you're going to go by. Whereas psychiatry, how you go about getting the information out of people, getting a rapport with people, how you think you can get them better is pretty creative, and you got some leverage to do things in your own style. So I think that was really just what make this job worthwhile to me. In terms of longevity, I don't think, famous last words.
Yeah.
I don't think psychiatry is going to be imminently replaced by anything like robotics or AI.
Yeah.
So I think that career is going to last compared to surgery, which they are already doing robotic surgery.
Yeah.
So these are the things that you have to think about. Yeah.
Definitely a point. Thank you so much.
I think psychiatry, like you've said, because we are each of us unique individuals in our own individual thought patterns and processes for the experiences or the things that we want in that future planning, that enables you to tap into that creativity that maybe you'd highlighted when you said that you used to paint and things, because you can do that on an individual basis with that person, building that rapport and changing communication and helping them with exactly what they need to be able to support them.
I think the part that was really sold my job to me is that, or you may ask, why didn't I just become an orthopedic surgeon? That's a very good career too. I think at some point I will lose the interest. If I keep fixing someone's bones, what's going to stop them from breaking again?
Yeah.
There is, whereas in psychiatry, I'm teaching people a life skill, hopefully for them to reframe how they look at things, how they adapt to things, and how they overcome things. And it's like that phrase, isn't it? Teach a man to fish to eat as many meals as
Yeah.
So that part is really important for me to teach people how to turn their life around. I mean, just as much as I'm learning off them at the same time. So that bit is really rewarding.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. I just wanted to touch up on this aspect of specialty. So obviously pre-podcast, we discussed a bit about the different specialties you can go into psychiatry. Could you just give us a couple of flavors of the different types of psychiatry and what people should really look into and research when wanting a career in this kind of specialty?
So before you go into psychiatry, you've got to do broad medicine. So all the different disciplines, you have to have a flavor of it. And then you choose which pathway you want to go into. For us, we chose to do mental health psychiatry. And even within that, there are a lot of different pathways. There is one for child and adolescent, one for general adult, one for older people, one for learning disability, one for forensic psychiatry. Those people have committed crime and broken the law. So those are the main 5 pathways. And then within those 5 pathways, I'll leave you to do the CAMS bit. Yeah. In general adult, so you can do perinatal, you can do addiction, you can do liaison, you can do eating disorders, you can do rehab medicine, you can just lots of different things. So that's why I'm saying don't close doors off to maturity.
Yeah.
And then you have different things.
So within CAMS, obviously we've got the core CAMS, which we deal with most of the things, but then we've got the learning disability part, eating disorders, neurodiversity. So that's the latest upcoming field, which is the ADHD and the ASD. So ADHD stands for
attention deficit.
And ASD is the autism, which again is a spectrum, but it's the people's understand. So, and we've got subdivisions in that, but depends on who specializes in what. So, and along with psychiatry, we've got psychotherapists as well. So we're like half psychologists and half psychiatrists. So they kind of do much more intense psychology work. But again, that's one. So within CAMS as well, we've got like multiple divisions as well. So you can pick and choose, like you want to stick to these. And we've got forensic, which although in adults they've got their own forensic, we've got CAMS forensic as well. So again, there's another subdivision in that. So it just sometimes these jobs are more in the centers, like more like a tertiary center, where there'll be more of that. I mean, we don't have many out here, so we cannot, because we're an ICB, we cannot pull in together from one other center. I think it's somewhere, forgot where is it based now. but we all use in this local region, we use the same sort of people. But
Yeah.
it's just that we've got so many different fields within CAMS as well.
Thank you so much. So what is one piece of advice that you would give based on your experience right now to someone like me?
I would say it's, I think something that was mentioned before, I think you need to dig down a bit deeper to say, how much can I put into this?
Okay.
If, for example, because anything when you work with people, when you work with the industry of actually helping people, and because there's also a bit of financial difficulties at times within the NHS and all those kind of things, there has to be a bit inside you to say how much more I can run without running out of steam.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So you need to dig down a little bit to say, is this what I want? And am I ready to run the whole mile without having to, even if someone says, oh, this is a difficult field, now you're not getting it, you're like, no, I don't care. I still love this thing. So for that, you have to dig down a little deeper and actually say, I'm very clear in my head why I want this and why I want to do it. And once you have that, then all the rest, you're going to get into research as to how many A levels you need, what you don't need. I mean, so there are some places that will ask you for 3 A levels, others are not asking for all 3 A levels. They're asking for, you can get an A plus or whatnot, and you can get a B and you can still get in. So it's, at the end of the day, all these places, although they're teaching medicine, might be slightly different. Maybe one is slightly better than the other. But at the end of the day, you will have to pass all your exams and get through all of the same. Like, I have studied in a completely different country. I came here, gave the exams that I need to equalize out here, and got in. So it really doesn't matter. It just depends on which one do you like, which one do you prefer. What is something, for example, you want to stay close to your parents, or you want to stay, some people want to stay away from their parents. So it's your sort of your choice on, even though you'll say, well, you can't ask this directly from the kids, but yeah, some just don't want to, they just want to be away. So it's a matter of how you make your choice based on those things. But I'm more interested in you digging deeper and saying why I want this.
Yeah.
And if you get it right, then there's nothing that can stop you. You will find a way.
It's quite interesting. I did a work experience placement recently, and one of the F2 doctors, which is second year doctors, told me that if you see yourself doing anything other than medicine, go pursue it, because medicine is for the people who truly believe that there is no other pathway for them. Yeah. Would you say that is quite?
I would totally agree with that.
Yeah. It's something that completely stuck with me. But yeah.
I think we can thank Humber Health Partnership for your recent placement
definitely.
as well. A little shout out, Mel.
Absolutely wonderful. I did a 3 days in radiography.
Oh, lovely.
It's very different from psychiatry, obviously, but it was quite interesting to get a taste of what radiography was like, what radiologists do, radiographers. I learned so much during my time, and I'm very grateful for them. So yeah.
Good. Advice from me is going to be 2 parts if you will entertain me.
Okay.
First part's about your career. Second part is just where we steer our lives, really. I think career-wise, especially when you're prepping yourself for going to med school, or wherever it is you want to go into, people fall into this common pitfall where they think I might just do a lot of study and get the grades. That puts you in a level footing as everyone else. That's the minimum requirement that they ask of you. So, in other words, to make yourself more competitive, why people will choose you over other candidates is you have got to demonstrate other skills that you have. It doesn't matter what it is. It may be just you can play an instrument, or you're good at sports, or you've got the not just talk the talk, you're doing walk the walk. You are, for example, volunteering in a care home or a pharmacy, or doing the actual work that you say you are interested in.
Like taking up the opportunity to join our podcast today, Emily, or taking up the opportunity to go and find that extra bit of work experience.
So it's all of these extra things that you're doing that sells the other qualities you have beyond your academic ability.
Definitely.
It happens when you're getting selected for med school. It happens when you're getting selected for the job interview. Why would I choose someone that's box standard, meeting the minimal requirement? That's just not going to cut it. So you've got to showcase your other skills and evidence that. And in terms of where we take our lives, I think here is what I'll say. Yeah, hustle now, do all your work, do all the hard work so that you can have an easier life to come.
Yeah.
Don't worry about aiming too high. I don't think there is such a thing. You just absolutely got to go for it. in the process of trying to get yourself to that position you want to be, just try to be compassionate with others and try to be, in particular, compassionate with ourselves. I think in this modern age, far too many of us are very self-critical. If you look at overworking, we all wear that like a badge of honor. That's not particularly healthy or kind or compassionate to ourselves. I think in this modern age, in particular, where there's a lot of social media platforms, you look at everybody's kind of success stories and glorious lifestyle, and then we look at our lives and we often think, am I doing something wrong? I'm sure Des will agree with this. You are comparing your behind the scenes neuroses with other people's highlight reel.
Yeah.
What you see is not really true. So just know what you are, know what your worth is, and just keep working at it. You are enough. And I want to stress that more than important. I want people to just be kind to themselves and kind to others. I think this world is, despite all the things that are supposed to bring the world together, I feel like the social cohesion between communities and neighbors and friendships are falling apart. I think that breeds a kind of mindset that lends itself to emotional illness as well as physical illness. So that's my piece on that.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful words like that. That's
Yeah,
really,
that really moved me actually. Like I felt
like, okay, yeah, I am enough. No, but I think all of that's really good. I think you've both given us so much information in your time today that's just highlighted obviously what great professionals that you are, but the difference and the impact that you're making to our local community.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mel, for joining us as well and putting everybody together to help support the Humber and North Yorkshire Integrated Care Board and the great work that we do here.